We are live, we are live, we are live. So I'm gonna go ahead and just break down this. I ain't gonna be too long because drop another one after this. It's gonna be short. That's all I'm gonna start doing is doing little shorts here and there. But it's crazy what Kevin going through right now. It's crazy and what the things that are sparking up within the manosphere and the situation kind of either Kevin put himself in or it just happened that way. But the funny part is, it's just like Tupac said, all eyes on me. You gotta understand, sometimes you can organically do it, or sometimes you just gotta give a little push. Be that as it may, I just want to say, whoever is dealing with Kevin's promotional side, it's a genius. I'm gonna be up front with you because I used to do marketing, a little bit of marketing back in the day. Not saying I'm no savvy or nothing like that, but the crazy part is what's going on right now. He has a buzz, and his buzz is not even going to decrease by no means. I mean, the latest video of the dude in the bed, you know, that pointing that finger. I told y'all. But we talking about it. We joking about it. At the end of the day, it's getting out there. So like I'm saying, within the space, it's happening. So at the same time, all we gotta do is just sit back and go along for the ride. Let's just say the least. But the thing I wanted to talk about with Kevin and these grenades and getting people coming in and talking about the main topic is the women all out there trying to see who's the next gonna jump on a grenade for the women. I mean, it's crazy. Then if you see the thumbnail, I put up several different hand grenades, to kind of let you know, at each given time, either they're trying to throw the grenade, then they want to defend the women by jumping on them, or just Kevin himself just throwing the grenades, and the women don't want to, take that L, so they rather jump on it, sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the community when it comes to the queens, you know. So the funny part is when it come down to it, all these women day in, day out, get on Kevin's show. It's a bad look. I mean, first of all, he got the Bonnet Chronicles. So jumping on, you should know that he's not gonna sit here and take you too serious if you got a bonnet on your head. The Bonnet Chronicles. I mean, look how many women getting ready to go to bed, jump on them, all wrapped up, probably napped up, capped up, all on the show. Oh man. And I understand if you get ready for bed, you fixing yourself up. I mean, even the ones that throw on wigs, they probably try to make themselves look decent. They still got a different kind of cap on. But it's just crazy. And then, a lot of these women haven't grasped the concept. If you don't want a high value man, then the weight and the questioning amongst most of all don't really, kind of push the issue with you. He'll get on you about your weight a little bit till you get it in line. But far as the income and all that, it's split in income. He haven't bashed a lot of those. You couldn't even say he bashing. He's just bringing out the truth, the hard truth that they don't want to hear. You know, me, we all been in position to, stroke women's ego, let them be more in charge, kind of push them ahead due to the fact that, that's a female. You don't want to be too rough with them. You don't want to do this with the females. And ain't nothing wrong with it. That's most people's sign of a gentleman for a man to kind of open the door, you know, sort of in that way, make them feel good. You know what I say about feelings, but that's for the men. Women are very emotional. They have a lot of feelings. Sometimes their feelings get involved too much when it comes to relationships. That's why they don't know how to rationalize the situation, you know, and that's every night. It's funny. Like the women come on there pleading their case. I mean, honestly speaking, are you going to get, well, he has had most educated women that come up there and, state the claim, but they wasn't, as rough. But the point of it is, all the ones that go up there actually make it look bad for the ones that are actually good women. I was on D1 channel, gospel artists, and you know, I don't know if these one D1 is in a relationship or something. He don't put it out there, but the thing is, he was always posting Kevin Samuel stuff on his page every so often, and I seen this lady jump on, and she was like, you know, Kevin, he don't pay child support, and he been married twice, and I'm laughing at that because I'm like, okay, what man has not missed his child support? The whole point when you pay child support, I'm quite sure there are men who haven't missed it, but there's the majority of them that have. You know, if you haven't taken out your check through your job, there's no way you're gonna miss it because it's coming out automatically before you get paid. They get paid before you get paid. Now, coming to the standpoint that if you're gonna take it out, well, if you're paying it yourself, understanding by you paying that child support yourself, you got to stay on top of it. Let's say you lose your job. You know, first thing you need to do is call the child support people. Let them know you lost your job so they can reduce the payments. Because how can you pay, let's say, $500 a month or $800 a month when you don't got a job? So that's first rule of thumb. A lot of men need to grasp that concept. We need to push this into space more to where a lot of men know that. So when a lot of men know that, they'll know how to handle the situation, whether they get fired, laid off, just anything, to where losing a job, even if they quit, still you got to go down there and let them know, hey, I'm not at this job no more. I don't have this money. And I always tell people, do what you can. I would literally send $20 each week to them. Hey, I made $100 this week cutting grass. I go 20. It shows that you pretty much, they don't care, but on paper it looks good. I'm just saying the least. Because I know guys that hustle the system. Not even gonna say all that on here, but the point and rate of them trying to hustle, I mean, literally, they steal your kids, dog. But let me get back to the topic because I got another string after this I'm gonna do, and that one is gonna be kind of rough. But when it come down to it, a lot of these women do this. They try to prove that Kevin, his record of getting two divorced. That means he's trying. But what can we say about the women on that part? Even if he was a bad man, he tried twice. Most of you women haven't tried at all. Most of you women run around, as Kevin would put it, and a lot of people, I say the same thing. If the infamous engaged women, who just been engaged. I mean, the point of it is, don't even get engaged with the guy. I mean, understanding that certain people, when they get engaged, they start showing true colors and things start coming out, there's nothing wrong with that. But to the issue, if you're really not into this guy, don't take the proposal just because. I mean, he should have an understanding if he wants to get married or not. You should have an understanding if you want to get married or not. Kind of discuss these things before the question gets popped. You know, it'll be foolish of a man to force a woman in marriage because most of the time they don't want to embarrass the guy. They'll say yes, but then recant later, just to save face with him. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But to the issue at hand, just say no in general. You know, yeah, because when it comes down to it, a lot of people, just aren't ready to get married, and that's one of the biggest things in the relationship. And to the main thing at hand, you would have just horrible outcomes. And be that as it may, getting back to the topic, all the stuff that they talk about with Kevin, okay, we can give you that. If he is that, we can give you that. But if he's not that, okay. But the main point at hand, can you argue the fact that every single night he is proving how most women generally act? And I told a lady on Instagram, I said, everything that you listed that Kevin is might be true. But can you say that all the things that you're talking about with these women and the women are coming up here trying to, plead their case with him, is that stuff a lie? Because he's generally making the good women, stand out more, but he's also making the good women fall up under an umbrella. And that's the bad part. The umbrella in which all these women, they come up under, sitting here every night trying to plead their case, wanting a good man, but don't want to work. And I push this in the space a lot. If you have a degree, what good is being a lawyer and you're constantly, in the kitchen, cooking, cleaning for the house, no kids? Let's say you both decide not to have kids. He's a doctor. You're a lawyer. You quit practicing to stay at home, to be a homemaker. How are you buying your time? I was once on a panel, I think her name is Angel. Kizzy, I believe. She talked about she has a folder of things to do, generally speaking, so she won't be, just idle, get to the point where she don't want to do anything or have nothing to do. I mean, the biggest thing is too with her, she just don't want to be bored. She has deep cleaning. I mean, just all that stuff. I was like, wow, that's one of the big things. With if I come home and you're a housewife, no kids, and the house is, I don't, even if a pen is on the floor, I'm gonna feel some type of way. And I did say feel. Because even as a lawyer, being, a doctor, they're stressed. You got to deal with the issue of people, sickness, family, emotional trauma from people bringing it to you. You got to almost be a counselor, when you become a doctor. So a lot of doctors should go and practice, you know, uh, psychology, because they're going to need it, when it comes to it. A lot of doctors should really practice psychology because they got to understand they're going to be talking to these people, dealing with the emotionals, dealing with the emotions, everything going in and out. It's just going to be a big thing, you know. And then your wife at home, probably looking at magazines, she's cleaning up the whole house. How is she going to use her degree when she's cleaning out the toilet? And she's arguing with the scum. Is, she's telling the Clorox better do his job, just being funny. But the point of it is, You don't need a degree for that. That's why when Charles always say the degree doesn't matter, because if the man is generally going to take care of you and pretty much you got a law degree, what good is that law degree when you're scrubbing down the toilet or cooking some Alfredo? He don't have his own practice, so you can't say, well, I use my degree to help him with his practice when people try to sue him or when uh, he needs paperwork filed and stuff. He, work, he works at a hospital. He don't have his own practice. He don't have a desire to have his own practice. He prefers working at a hospital, dealing with people who he deal with, you know, getting to a status to where he don't have to, do surgery no more. He can be the person that runs the hospital, clerical work, stuff like that, subscribing prescriptions. Giving prescriptions to people and things of that nature. So when it comes down to it, you essentially don't have to work, you don't have kids, every day cooking and cleaning, and you know that's it. You take trips with him. You can plan the trips now. If he plans the trip, you might have a side eye to that. You could ask him what he want to do. More or less, you just hand and foot there for him, like all the women crying and barefooted, pregnant thing. But the point of it is, if you was barefooted and pregnant, that's what you wanted, because you don't want to work, and that's like the biggest thing. Now, if you want to work, that's a good thing. You have kids, that's a good thing. Then guess what? That degree goes a long way because you're still working, you're putting money into the house with your degree, right? You're taking your degree, pouring the knowledge that you know into your kids, which until we all know, the school only teaches so much. You have to be the teacher at home as well. You can't just send your kids to school and think that if you send your kids to school, then pretty much that's it. These kids are going to be the smartest only because they go to the smartest schools. You know, it's all about the teacher. Every year, let's see. I would say for the past three, no, I would say the past 3 years, but just in general, almost 3 years of my kids being in school, I have twins, so I have to literally put one of the twins in the other teacher class because they're just so phenomenal being a teacher. You know, the whole point of them actually teaching my kids something, at the rate of caring, calling, trying to figure out what's going on, why are they falling behind in this subject, stepping up in this one. It's great that they're doing it. Keep it up, whatever I'm doing, because obviously they're not teaching this and they're learning it on the fly. And it shows how good, that I've been working with my kids or my wife. But when it comes down to it, there were teachers that just horrible, get a bad grade, don't send no paperwork home, don't say anything. Just so happen to look at my son's book bag, because with kids, if you got a choice to show a bad grade, you're not. Especially with report cards. When it came down to it, I never hardly ever sent um, progress reports home because my grades were bad. I knew by the time I get them up by report card time. The craziest part, when I was in school, my grandmother didn't know about progress reports. She only knew about the report cards, you know. But coming down to getting into my kids, I knew about all that. So I would ask them, "What are your progress? Huh?" My wife was like, "I don't think they got it yet." My daughter, she was, bring it every once in a while when her grades were real good. But other than that, she tried to hold back, because my wife, she didn't play, as far as getting these C's and, not really doing the right thing. She's going to get on you about it because she be like, you do this at home. I study with you. I, take my time out, read this over with you, let you get an understanding. So what's the problem? That's how she's looking at the situation. But with the kids, they have up and down with it. But when it come down to it, though, you gotta honestly say, you know, having a degree, it helps to a certain degree. But you gotta understand, women who don't have degrees, they also can teach kids too. So it's like to a certain level, when a kid gets from elementary to middle school, that's important. But the woman that has the degree, is she generally there working with that child every night? I mean, we know about boys having low reading scores, and the women always want to say that men don't be there for their kids, but just in general, do we understand that most kids don't be in the household with their fathers, you know? And then if we're gonna talk from that scale, I mean, even the fathers that do, they're generally working hard, providing for the family. Some women just only have secretary jobs. The most stressful thing they have to do is answer a call with a stupid caller. So how bad is your job? I mean, mentally, probably, but physically, and you're that much emotionally tired from the physical aspect of just, being on the phone. I get it. No, I'm not taking away from women that have to do that. I mean, it's a task at hand because it's an emotional task, but, you know, the point being a physical labor for the ones that are not doing physical labor, as well. Look good. Sorry about that. I'm driving and guy had cut off in front of some people. Had to slow down. Wasn't looking good. But yeah, when it comes down to it though, a lot of men do a lot of physical labor. Men, when they want to blame the father for not being a good dad, you know, you didn't help him growing up. You didn't do this. Well, baby, seeing that I work 10 and 12 hours, contributing to the family, and when I get home, I'm tired. All I want is a beer and a meal. Sometimes I had to go get me something to eat because you didn't even cook. I got to go to bed early because I got to get up early. I got a homeboy. This guy, he gets up at 3 every morning. So as soon as he get home, probably about 5 or 6, sometimes even 7, when he's pushing late, he don't have time to do anything but eat, you know, probably drink him a little bit, wind down for about an hour, and then go directly to sleep. Most of the time, this guy tells me he in the bed by no later than 8 or 9 o'clock. He's tapped out. Tapped out. 8 or 9 o'clock, he's tapped out. And when it comes down to it, I mean, from that standpoint, if you get up at 3 and you're getting off, I mean, you know how your day starts. That's literally over 12 hours. 3 to 3 is 12. That's not even saying that this guy gets to work at 12. He gets up at 3. I mean, not starting work at 3, but he gets up at 3, starts his day at 3. And when it's over, it's over. Not for sure the exact time, because I know he has a little ride before he gets to work, but the exact time. I know a guy I talked to when I was working at one facility. This guy literally worked 3 hours from his house. Every day he drove 3 hours to work. And I asked him, I was like, man, why do you live there but work here? He's like, well, I don't have a problem. I budget the gas, I budget, pretty much on in how much easier would it be for me to work at this facility versus, the pros and the cons. He's like, I'd rather stay here and have my family move because my wife, she got a transfer. Easily she could have turned it down, but it was a little more money. So I just rather drive. I'm convenient with this, my kids they're the age to where they're older. It's not a problem. All so no issue. I'm like, cool. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap it up. But end it with this guy would spend 6 hours in the car, 8 hours at work. Had a real good job. It pays good. It paid real good. But the point of it is that this guy was working and driving literally just like what 14 hours. Still had to get 8 hours of sleep. Generally, some people don't. But at right at hand, still, when did he have time to play? You know, when he was off, he gave his kids the world. Told me that my days off are precious. That's all time that just devoted to my family. So I never really took all that, kind of too serious when it came down to it. But pushing the issue at hand, this guy worked for the family. So he more or less looked towards his wife to do so many things. And if things weren't in order, he could be mad at the wife, but in a sense that he would literally have to give up a good job, come and trying to get a low end job paying just so he can correct the things that his wife has done as far as taking care of the kids. And that's the sacrifice a lot of women don't see, to where if you're not doing something right, the guy has to make that connection in order to, right the wrongs. So when it comes down to it, I'm sitting up here trying to provide a better life, better results for the family. And when it comes down to it, the big issue at hand, you wanting to live your best life. That's rough. That is rough. So, when it comes down to it, a lot of those women, like I say, they jump on the grenades. They sit there and think that they're going to prove Kevin wrong. That's why I showed the thumbnail about the grenades, going back to the beginning. Kevin has to literally throw those grenades out and let those women come in and try to, defend their point about what's going on. And Kevin has to, stop that girl. When it comes down to it, there are a lot of women want to, prove Kevin wrong. That's why they generally come on there probably, or, be that as it may, they'll jump on a grenade for the sisterhood. Nah, you ain't gonna talk about women like this. And I feel that you're doing, I feel you're doing this. Logically speaking, because it is logic. When it comes down to a lot of that stuff that them women talking about with Kevin, they can talk about it all day long. But the fact of the matter, you can say he's this, you can say he's that. But in the end, look at his situation. You can't prove, you cannot say that what he's talking about is wrong. You can say, the situation that the women are doing is wrong, but you can't say when he's talking about this is what men hear. And also, I believe it's Dave now with the Conscious Corner, Conscious Council, Dave and Herbert, they talk about this on their platform. A lot of these women will get up there and they get mad at him. But he's only coming from a perspective in which the manosphere and other men talk about. And they don't like it. They don't like it when the perspective comes up about the manosphere, the way these guys generally think, because they mostly show on Facebook. And on Facebook, they don't really see an issue with none of this stuff. But like I said, a lot of women come out there every night, jump on a grenade, want to plead their case that Kevin is such a bad person. But I will get everybody to focus that I'm about to get ready to do another live after this right now. It's at 8:05, so I'm getting ready about to close this up and get out of here. But the point of it is, when it comes down to it, a lot of women do this with Kevin every night. The Bonnet Chronicles, all the sisters that want to come prove him that he's a very bad man. So, like I said, go over to my next live. This was gonna be interesting because I'm talking the rate of which the manosphere and the guys over there doing their thing. So hope you can come over and join for that one too. That one might be a little brief because Gold Professor about to jump on, and I want to go ahead and give him his room. But we gone.